In the early hours of Sunday morning, Super Typhoon Uwan, internationally known as Fung-wong, struck the Philippines with devastating force, packing sustained winds of around 185 kilometers per hour and gusts reaching 230 kilometers per hour. It has become one of the most powerful tropical cyclones to hit the country in recent years. According to data from the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical and Astronomical Services Administration, PAGASA, Uwan rapidly intensified overnight as it approached the southern region of Luzon. Satellite imagery revealed unusual structural features inside the storm's core, where the inner eye wall appeared to be collapsing, while a new, larger outer eye wall formed, a process meteorologists call an eye wall replacement cycle. This phenomenon occurs only in the most intense cyclones and often signals that the storm is reorganizing its inner structure to expand its size and influence. At approximately 8 a.m. on Sunday, the first confirmed landfall was reported in Camalig, Albay, where Mayor Kaloy Baldo shared footage showing violent winds and torrential rain tearing through the municipality. In his statement, he described how the roar of the wind was so loud that it drowned out all other sounds, warning residents to remain indoors until the danger had fully passed. Reports from nearby areas confirmed widespread power outages, toppled trees and debris blocking several roads. Initial assessments from local disaster officials indicated severe flooding in low-lying communities of Legazpi City and minor landslides along the slopes of Mount Mayon. Thousands of households lost electricity as transmission lines collapsed under the force of the wind. In response, the provincial government of Albay declared a state of full emergency, activating more than 200 evacuation centers across schools and government buildings to shelter displaced families. PAGASA issued Typhoon Signal Number 4 over multiple provinces, one of the highest levels of alert under the country's storm warning system. The agency reported that Uwan was moving slowly northwestward at about 15 kilometers per hour, expected to traverse the Luzon landmass throughout the next 24 hours. Forecasters noted that while the typhoon would gradually weaken after landfall due to terrain friction, it would remain dangerous, capable of producing destructive winds, storm surges, and life-threatening rainfall. Meteorological experts studying the storm observed that Uwan displayed a rare dual vortex circulation within its eye, with intense convective bursts spiraling outward from the center. This complex inner core behavior explains the storm's fluctuating satellite appearance, which lacked a clear, stable eye at times. Analysts warned that if the system re-emerges over the open waters of the West Philippine Sea, it could regain strength before finally moving away from the country. On the humanitarian front, the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council, NDRRMC, reported that more than 100,000 people had been evacuated from coastal and flood-prone areas prior to landfall. The operation was one of the largest preemptive evacuations conducted in the Philippines this year. Flights were canceled nationwide, ferry services suspended, and several airports and seaports closed as precautionary measures. Farmers in Albay and neighboring provinces expressed concern that the storm's strong winds and flooding could devastate rice and coconut plantations just weeks before harvest season. International responses began pouring in shortly after reports of landfall. Neighboring countries, including Japan and Taiwan, offered immediate assistance in the form of emergency relief supplies and technical support for post-storm recovery. The International Red Cross issued a statement expressing deep concern for vulnerable communities and called for coordinated humanitarian efforts to support the Philippines during and after the crisis. As Super Typhoon Uwan continues its slow passage across Luzon, the situation remains fluid and dangerous. Authorities emphasize that the priority now is to protect lives, ensure access to shelter and clean water, and begin assessing the extent of the damage once the weather subsides. For millions of Filipinos enduring the storm's fury, the hope is that Uwan's destructive visit will pass swiftly, leaving behind lessons of preparedness and resilience in the face of nature's power.